So one of my favorite benches is this AC/DC Hell's Bell. So it's something I ran off on the Neptune 3 Max, 4 Max on my big Tronixy machine just to see how they did speed-wise. Now, of course, I designed that, well, scaled it up to match the 420 by 420 bed. So it might be interesting to run one of these off on that Cobra 3 Max. But I'm going to run one of these off just to check quality-wise on the Centauri Carbon and scale it as big as I can. So in other words, I'm going to try and fit it in that 255 at 255 build plate area, and hopefully it should fit height-wise as well. So let's go and slice one up and let's get it going, see what it does. Okay, so I scaled it to 256 by 256 on the X and Y, and the top of it fits within the range as well, so height-wise it's good. So loaded up some Silk multicolor PLA, same type I did with the benches when I first got it, and set it going. Now you can see it's put a brim down, which is bigger than the bed because I pushed the edges of the bell to the side, so it's put the brim as best it can. So obviously there's little bits missing left and right, but that should be enough just to help hold it in place and stop any warping as it prints. So we'll see how this goes. It is estimating 14 hours. So we're going to let it run for a couple of hours and then we'll come back and see how it's getting on. Well, I had to restart my bell print with a new spool of filament, and I took the brim off when I restarted it. And the reason for it was, here's the one I had running. That looks very nice. However, the spool, the filament on it was stuck together. So it was trying to pull it off, but it was sticking. This isn't too bad now, but it reached a point where these pieces were just stuck. I mean, you can't even flick them apart. See, I'm trying to put my nail in between them, and they were jammed. So while it was trying to pull it off to feed it, it got stuck, and then I ended up with an area where it was trying to print, but there was no filament coming out, and then it finally cleared it and started printing again. But at that point, here it is. There we go. So this ended up sitting on top of that, and there was a gap where that filament got stuck. So cancelled the print and made an improvement. Look at that seam line. So I've moved that to the back and put on an experimental feature that's supposed to hide the seam a bit better. So we'll see how that works. Put that one in there. More trash. So I'm going to leave this running overnight while I go to bed, and we'll see what it looks like in the morning. Good morning, people. Happy 4th of July, and let's see how this thing came on. Before I went to bed last night, I turned the speed down. The Silk, in my opinion, prints better at the slower speed, and I've got to say, it's looking very nice. below the top there. And of course the seam is now hidden at the back, which would really help a lot. So leave that thing carry on going, and we'll check on it later today. It's nearly 5:30 p.m. and man, it's looking good. I love the way the light reflects off that. It would be nice to get it out and spin it around, but yeah, so not much longer to go. It should be finished before I go to bed, so we'll catch up with it then. Alright, 8 p.m, we're getting close. It's nearly there. I'll hopefully get back to you pretty soon and show you the final thing. So a final print with the silk, and as I say, with the color changing material, looks pretty good. So yeah, not a bad little test for the capacity of the machine there.